Hi everyone, I am Steven van Bellegem and it is a pleasure for me to be back here at Guidewire's Connections Reimagined. I'm very happy I can do another keynote and share some insights with all of you. This time the title is Become a Friction Hunter. Because it's my belief in this fast-paced digital world, if you want to make a difference, if you want to win the heart and the business of your customers, you need to create a frictionless environment. And that has been the case for many years. But let's be honest, in the last year, it's almost like we stepped into some sort of a time machine. In terms of digital behavior, I mean, we made the big digital jump forward, and it looks like we stepped into the time machine in March 2020, and we're going to step back out in March 27 or something like this. This is the biggest digital acceleration we have ever seen. And I don't know if you remember this, but in the early days of the pandemic, we used digital to compensate for our physical losses. But very quickly, we created new habits and new behaviors. And this is interesting, this is fascinating, because this is creating a whole new set of customer expectations that will be different post-pandemic than pre-pandemic. In my opinion, 2020 was the year of the biggest digital training course in human history. We learned so much. And some stats are just amazing. This is my favorite graph of the pandemic. It shows the evolution of e-commerce in the United States in the past 10 years. And what you see here is that in the first 8 weeks of the first lockdown back in spring 2020, e-commerce grew faster in those 8 weeks than in the 10 years before that. It's crazy that the system didn't collapse if you think about it. But it's crazy to think that we had a faster growth in 8 weeks than in 10 years. And what you're starting to see now is that this new group of people who discovered e-commerce, they are here to stay. 80% of them is saying that they will keep this new habit going. 80% of them will stick to e-commerce. So in my opinion, what is happening is that we didn't climb the Matterhorn. We didn't went steep up to go steep down again. No, we have climbed the Table Mountain. We went steep up and we reached this new level. And that's what I mean with this time machine. That's what I mean with the big digital jump forward. And now it's very interesting because many businesses are developing new business models that are taking into account this big digital jump forward. And one of the consequences of what happened in 2020 is that today, in 21, there is some sort of a zero tolerance for digital inconvenience. We cannot tolerate it anymore. We become very nervous if something doesn't work instantly. And you know, we've all seen this, and this is my invitation to all of you. If you create apps, digital tools, new digital interfaces, make sure that you look at them from a customer point of view. Because, you know, for a customer, it's like this. They get your new app and they think, oh, cool, I'm going to push a button. And then it takes off, like the little doll here that you see in this video. And then you try a few other things, and then you're like, oh my God, this thing is not working at all. So be sure. Be a friction hunter. Make sure that this doesn't happen when your customers start to play with the tools that you launch. Look at things from a customer point of view. And it's not just the details in, let's say, interfaces that are crucial. There's more than that. I think what we're going to see now is that business models are going to be turned upside down. Now, in the old world, it went like this. A customer went to a certain service. They had to go to a store, not just physically, but also digitally. You had to go to Amazon.com. Me as a customer, I went to a place and then I could get my service or my product. What you're starting to see now is the opposite model, where services and products are being built around me, where services and products are being brought to me as a customer. Let me give you this example. This is a healthcare app in China, Good Doctor. It is part of an insurance group called Ping An. And they turned the healthcare model completely upside down. Like, I live in Europe, I live in Belgium, a very small country in Europe. When I feel pain or when something's wrong with me, I've been culturally trained not to go to the doctor instantly. We wait a few days and we hope that things will go away. Maybe it's the same with all of you. And the reason is that going to a doctor really takes a lot of my time. I have to make an appointment, then I have to drive there, I have to wait in the waiting room. They always let you wait. And then you get the examination, then you have to go to a pharmacy, you get your medication, and then you go back home. I mean, it's crazy. You almost have to take half a day off to actually get your medical services. So I move to them, and that's how the model is being built. In this example here from Good Doctor, it is the opposite. What happens is this. You've got an app, and you feel pain, or your throat is sore, or whatever, and you type in those symptoms. And then instantly, they will connect you with a doctor. They have like 1,000 doctors available 24/7 to help you out. And during that video call, the doctor, behaves like a filter. If they feel that something serious is going on, well, of course, they're going to connect you to a hospital to get more examination done. But many times, in many cases, the doctor just feels that it's a minor thing that's going on, and they can prescribe you medication. And what they do then is they make sure you receive that medication instantly in your home. They will make sure that you will receive the medication in less than 60 minutes. So you go online, they examine you, they do the prescription of medication, and they also do the delivery. If you compare that with the model that I have here in Europe, I have to spend half a day getting my service. With these guys, I just have to go to the app, I talk to them with a few minutes, and then everything is being done for me. So the model, the service, is being built around the customer. And these guys go far with that. They've now built what they call mobile clinics. And in cities like Beijing and Shanghai, you have these mobile clinics now. And if you look at them and you're my age, it looks like an old phone booth, if you can remember those. But here it's a mobile clinic. You walk in, you talk to a screen, you talk to a doctor, they do the filtering again. If you need medication, hey, you get your prescription on your phone, you walk back out, you go to the other side of the mobile clinic, and there's a vending machine, you do the scanning, and pots, there you go. You got your product in just a few seconds' time. This is the most popular healthcare platform in the world. They now have about 500 million people that are using it. And on a daily basis, they have 5 million active users on their platform. And if you look at that number, 5 million, you may think, well, that's not that large if you think about 500 million. But that 5 million is more daily users than all other medical platforms combined in the entire world. Just to show you how successful these guys are. Why are they successful? Because they have turned around the existing business model, and they have built their service around the customer. And we're going to see more and more of that. And this statement sounds so obvious, but today more than ever, you need to build your business around the customer. You need to be where the customer is. Another example, Peloton bikes, extremely popular in the United States and in countries like Germany right now. And for people who don't know Peloton bikes, at first sight, it looks like an expensive home trainer. You want to do your workout at home, and it's an expensive bike, but there's more to it. It's a brilliant system. They have the built-in screen, and on the screen you can choose your personal trainers, and you have live classes. It's live, and they know that you're taking part of the classes, so they can address you personally. They can say, hey, Steven, you need to push a little bit harder, my friend. The others are doing better. And you have that live aspect, you have the personalization. You also have the social aspect, because you see others, and you see how they are performing in the leaderboards. And the crazy thing is, you can have a workout with a personal trainer, together with other people, live, personalized, but all that from the comfort of your own home, which is a totally different process than going to the gym. Now, we used to think that going to the gym was a social activity. It's not. You're just in the same room sweating with other people who are also sweating, but you're not engaging with them. Your eyes are glued to your screen. Your AirPods are glued in your ears. There is no social interactivity. The Peloton example is more social than going to the gym. That's the crazy part. And of course, it won't surprise you that these guys have grown like crazy during the pandemic. And I am convinced the people who discovered a Peloton bike and the whole concept around it in the last year, they will not go back to the gym, because that's the old school model. And this is what we're seeing now. New models are being built around the customer. They go where the customer is. Business models are being turned upside down. And I have this model that I've been building around this concept. I call it fluid customer relations, because I think you need to build a different kind of customer relations. And I'm going to relate this back to the insurance industry in just a minute. Because you have two sides in this model. The old model that can still be very relevant, where the customer comes to you, and the new model where you build your service around the customer. You have ad hoc paying models, you have free models, and you have subscription models. Going to the gym is an old model of subscription. I go there every week and I pay them a monthly fee. Going to the doctor, ad hoc paying, and I go to them. Google, I go to Google, I type in my question, and then I have to push a button before I have access to the information. What you see now is a flip to the right-hand side of this schedule, where Peloton is the alternative for the gym, where Good Doctor is the alternative for the traditional doctor, and where TikTok is the alternative for Google. Let's take Google for a second. Google looks like a frictionless interface, but it's built 20 years ago. If you look at it today, you need to do quite some effort. You need to go to Google, you type in your question, they give you a list, you have to screen the content, and you have to click on it. If you're wrong, you have to go back to the previous page. So it takes quite an effort. I have to go to the search engine, and then they provide me with information. If you compare that with TikTok, if you go to TikTok, you don't have to do anything. Instantly, you get content, and based on your behavior, the algorithm is being trained to personalize that content. But you never have to go somewhere. You don't have to do anything. The information is being built around the customer. It's a different model. And it's just a symbol of the old technological models versus the new technological models. It's a symbol of how new successful services are being built around the customer, fluid customer relations. Take a company like Amazon. Amazon has done a wonderful job in this. But traditionally, they are an ad hoc paying company. I go to Amazon.com, I get my product, and I leave again. Very early, these guys have made the brilliant move to add Prime, of course, one of the most successful loyalty programs in the entire world. I love this graph, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it, but today, 82% of the US households is member of Amazon Prime. Can you imagine that? And I love the benchmark here. It's like more people are on Amazon Prime than you had people in the US that had a Christmas tree last Christmas. It's just amazing to look at those stats. But it's a subscription model traditionally built. Now what you see is that they're bringing new services to the market where they bring the service to you. Like I love their STEM subscription model where you pay them a monthly fee and then every month they send you toys based on the age of your child. And thanks to those toys, your children can discover how technology works. They can have scientific projects and stuff like this. But it's an example of where the service is being brought to me in a subscription-based model. Take Alexa, for instance. Once you've got the hardware, then it's a free service in the comfort of your own home. So you see how a company like Amazon is building on different profiles of customer relationships. They have a fluid customer relationship and they try out different models to get, to become as strong as possible towards their customers. Now, if you think about the insurance industry, I think the challenge is to look at the existing model that you use and see if you can move toward different opportunities in the market. I think traditionally, insurance products are made, let's say, in an ad hoc basis. I need an insurance for a specific trip, or I need something for a specific product, or I have a subscription for my house, for instance. I think those two are the traditional models that you see in most insurance companies. Now the question is, what could you do in the other four? One of the things that I really like, it's an example that I saw from a European insurance company. They were like, okay, one of our products is car insurances, right? And most of the time people don't bump into things or don't have severe accidents, thank God for that. So usually you just pay your annual fee, that's it. And if you have a car accident, you talk to them. But there are many people out there who, when they're parking, they bump into something and there's a minor scratch on their car, or someone, scratched their car, and it's just small enough that you can accept it, but you don't want to fix it because you don't want to spend the money, you don't want to call your insurance company, those kind of things. So this European insurance company came up with this idea of the little dent days. And they reach out to their customers and they're like, okay guys, if you have little dents in your car, if you have small scratches, on this specific day, you can go to this location and we're going to fix this for free for you. You just come in and we're going to have some sort of a drive-through and we're going to fix this because we know that you don't want to do the work, you don't want to pay for it, but we also know that you want to have a beautiful car, so we're going to take care of it. And the cool thing is, when it's a non-COVID year, their employees are part of that, and they do like a party. There's a band playing. They give drinks to their clients, And it's an opportunity where the clients actually meet the people behind the insurance, and then they fix the car. And it's like one giant party. And they do this at different locations in their country, and it is a huge success. It's like bringing value to the customer in a free way. They have to come to you, but the value that you create is fantastic. There are also opportunities on the right-hand side of this schedule. Think about a product that you buy, and there is automatically an insurance product integrated in the product. And it's a subscription-based. I buy a laundry machine, and there's an insurance product linked to it. If something's wrong with it, you guys are going to take care of it. And I don't have to do anything except just, clicking on a certain minor interface on a website, and then I'm insured, and it just happens by itself. And you can have the same model on an ad hoc basis. I book a trip, I want to go to Hawaii, and instantly an insurance is integrated in the project that I just bought. I don't have to do anything, and it just happens by itself. Or another one that I like is, why don't you go to the homes of your clients to check if the house is really prepared for a fire? If all the preventive measures are being done to make sure that those people's house is safe. Why don't you do that as an insurance company? You offer it as a free service. You go to their house and you say, hey guys, you've been insured with us for like 5 years. We're going to make sure that everything in your house is fine. So there's so many opportunities that you guys can do from your industry to create different kind of customer relations. And at the end of the day, you will have a higher level of service, and you will have more opportunities for customers to engage with you. And that combination, I think, is very important to build loyalty and to have a stronger relationship. Think about where are we today and how can we move to different sides of this spectrum. And then, of course, the question comes, how can we implement this in a customer-centric way? Because you can have the strategic idea, but how can you make this customer-centric? Taking into account the big digital jump that we took this year, and taking into account that today there is some sort of a zero tolerance for digital inconvenience. And if you're still in doubt about this statement, I just want to do a small test with you guys. If you install a new app on your phone, you got your phone, you install an app, how many chances do you give that app before you give up? I don't see and hear you right now, but I know the answer. Most of you are saying 1, some are saying 2, and the nicest people in the group are saying 3. You guys are too good for this world. But most of us give a new app 1 chance or 2 chances. That's how it goes. And then the second question, how long does that 1 chance last? And for most of you, the answer will be determined in seconds and not in minutes. That's our mindset today. We give something 1 chance, and usually that chance lasts for, let's say, less than 30 seconds. There is zero tolerance for digital inconvenience. And I think if you want to create an offer your customers can't refuse, it's not just about having the right strategy. That's what I just described. It's also about making sure that they can get those services in a frictionless kind of way. And then it becomes an offer you can't refuse. And in the old world, the minimum demand of the market was having a good product, good service, and good price. And of course, that is still important today. But there's more. Today, digital convenience is also a minimum demand. It is something that we find natural. If you have it with your company, fine, people will think it's normal. If you don't have it, you're in deep trouble. You could say that digital convenience today has become a commodity. It's the most normal thing in the world. And to succeed in it, and to make sure that you have that frictionless experience, I invite you to focus on every detail of your customer relation and go for transactional optimization. Try to optimize every detail of the customer journey. And think about the value you could create. Frictionless is very often about the element of time. Time is a scarce resource, and because of the pandemic, we will be more sensitive than ever about where we want to spend our time on. So if you want to create value, it's not just about removing the small frictions, it's also about anticipating to problems. It's about solving problems of customers before they even know that there is a problem. That's also removing a friction. That's removing a friction before you know that you will suffer from it. Hyper-personalization. Help me in my choice. Make sure that everything is extremely personalized. That will, ask less time from me. And convenience. I know that you guys are in the insurance industry, but believe me, the benchmark for convenience are not the other insurers. The benchmark are the apps that we have on the homepage of our phone. That is your benchmark. And these three benefits help us to create a frictionless environment that is ready for the next few years. And if you wonder what this interface of the future will look like, well, it's about invisible interfaces. They're highly personalized. They require zero effort from the customer, and they're very proactive. That's what you need to create a frictionless environment. And this, guys, is my final invitation. Try to become a friction hunter and play the friction hunter game in your company. I'm going to explain it as pragmatic as possible. But what you need to do is you go through all the processes that your customers go through. You look at them from a customer point of view, and you write down every detail, every small thing that is not frictionless. And I'm not talking about, oh, our invoicing system is not frictionless, or the claim handling is not frictionless. No, that's too macro. You need to zoom in here. Make it as small as possible, every detail. And make a list. Make a list of 20, 30, 40, 50 items that you think are frictions that need to be solved. And when you have your list of 50, split them in two. Half of them should be quick wins. Items that you can solve instantly without any additional budget or just limited budget, without too many resources that you need to invest in it. And the other half are more complex projects, but also important to become more frictionless. But you begin with the quick wins. You put names next to it, and you agree with each other that you're going to solve them and remove them in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then you come back together, social pressure, and you look if you actually did it. And for every friction that you removed, you make a little star, and you put it on the wall. And eventually, that becomes your wall of previous frustrations. And then you do the exercise again and again and again and again. And a number of things will happen. You will create a culture in your organization where people become sensitive for frictions, and you will get positive energy in your organization because you will have an effect really, really fast. People in the organization will see, hey, things are changing here. We're going faster than ever. And your customers will also feel it. They will be like, hey, have you changed something? We don't really know what it is, but you've done something and we like it. So you'll have positive energy from the outside, positive energy from the inside. And if you can create a rhythm and a culture around that of becoming a friction hunter, man, the impact is just huge. It's one of the most pragmatic kinds of advice I can give you, but it works like crazy. So I can only invite you to become a friction hunter and give your customers an offer they can't refuse by doing so. And that was my advice, and I cannot wait to see the impact that this will have on the overall insurance industry. So this is what I had. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check me out on my Instagram or YouTube or LinkedIn. I share a lot of content there, and it was a pleasure to have the opportunity to speak to all of you here again today. Thank you very much.